What's up, Fire Emblem Nation? So the Fortune's Weave trailer just dropped, and in it, we have some very hype additions to the Fire Emblem knowledge news that we... Okay, listen, here's... I went through the trailer like 4 times, and I combed through, and I found some really cool details, and I'm going to show all of them that I found in this awesome video going over the whole trailer. You know how these videos work, I hope. Okay, so the first standout thing about Bob that we get is, of course, that the use of alcohol is mentioned in the ESRB rating. Now, I didn't know this previously. You might have known this previously. I didn't check ESRB. Okay, so the first actual thing is that Dagda is claimed to be ruled by the gods. And this actually tracks because later in the trailer, we actually do, in fact, see that there are several gods in the pantheon of Dagda, as opposed to Fodlan, which just had 1. The Dagda guy himself actually does have pointy ears, which of course implies a direct line between him and that guy right there. They both have pointy ears, implying that of course they're both the same species and or descendants from the gods, I suppose. I was not able to identify anything but this Moby Dick ass Pequod killing thingamabob whale. So a cool thing that I saw is that, of course, the guy that killed Lena's dad, who I think is later revealed to be called, like, the White Mane, whatever, has a cloak with the head of the Immaculate One, or at least looks kind of like that, and also the crest of Dominic. It actually seems that both Lena and Dietrich both want to kill the White Mane Demon. Imagine getting cut out of your own revenge story now. So it actually seems that you can recruit guest units, like 3 houses, or that's just the green roster of the chapter. Either way, this needs Sakai and Dietrich teaming up. This video holds a lot of details for us. We can actually see that magical damage seems to be called mystical damage now. This will come up later. Every character also seems to have a little gauge next to their face that I will be calling the CAS gauge from now on. You'll find out later why. And it seems that Kai and perhaps all 4 of the main characters have an extended gauge of like twice as big. Next thing you'll note seems the Killing Edge allows you to use the Deadly Blade combat art, which also probably points to like many unique weapons hitting you. Ah! Fuck! I just noticed! We're gonna do that dumbass engage thing again where the fucking AUI doesn't tell you anything about the weapon's might or hit or anything. I hated that! Why did I have to bring it back? Please! God! Back on the menu of Everlasting Torment, so actually with the symbols to every single symbol, you see the curse has a little fucked up crest agatier, which is the exact same symbol as the curse gauge that I mentioned earlier. That's why I call it the curse gauge. This likely works as a rework of the devil weapon mechanic, where every hit with a curse weapon adds to your gauge based on the curse stat of it. Once the gauge maxes, you'll probably take a ton of damage, or even have a guaranteed backfire. Good system in theory, but almost the fun of unviable devil axes. Gauntlets are no longer brave, but instead give bonus evasion while held. Or do they? The weapon Mu uses here are specifically called Dodge Gauntlets, which could be a gimmick item. But then why would they advertise it this way? It's possible Dodge Gauntlets just add even more dodge than normal. Likewise, it's implied that all spears have anti-cavalry, just as all bows have anti-flyer. A good balance, I can lie, but this could also be misleading. I doubt it though, we may be in a new age. Also, the gun, Salamander, is a gauntlet, and it probably has 1-2 range, or magic damage, or both. Also, Diego Luna here's... Fuck, I messed up his name. Also, Diego's Domina sword seems to have 4 more attack, attack, or crit and follow-up. Whether this is a weapon property, skill at work, or universal mechanics is unknown.
There are attacks with greater power.
Which is actually pretty funny, because they're showing off a combat art that they've already shown before deals half damage. The longbow, instead of having a longer range, gives access to the Deadeye combat art, which means it will probably be out of the learnable arts pool, but everyone has access to it now. By the way, prowess might be back. So all the blaze arts have the curse symbol next to them, and likewise when we see Dietrich use moving shadow, we can see the curse gauge raise up by 1, even after he's already lost the 5 HP. It's possible that both incurring self-damage and taking curse points are both one and the same. By the way, Turnwheel's back, and it seems to take a new resource called Divine Sand, which will show up later. This could possibly make it so that depending on the length of the jump, you spend more resource, or possibly the Turnwheel uses carry over between maps, because I don't know when Divine Sand will refresh. Gita is probably named after Bushido. Also, cut the music! Rejoice! One and all! It's finally back after so long away from us! Good sprite work has returned! We haven't seen it since 3 Houses! We haven't seen it since 3 Hopes! I will never stop shitting on Engage's sprites for as long as I live. These were ass! By the way, it doesn't seem like there's master classes back, but as long as there are enough specialty and advanced classes, I'm cool with that. There's 5 beginner classes, over 10 special classes, and it seems about 14, maybe 16 advanced classes if we accommodate for all we've seen. That's for later. Woo! Boner Orneus. And, get this, Boner Orneus. So is Sexiana's canon class the Elephant Rider, or are they just showing off the 2 sexiest things in the game together? training cost motivate. Oh yeah, by the way, Zenith is back. Just straight up, they're not even trying to hide it. It even has the same kill quote and everything.
You defeat me?
Ah.
You defeat me? Laughable.
Oh yeah, so training cost motivation, which is probably functional identical to Three Houses, just displayed differently. Or it could be a more fleshed out resource than last time. This isn't a missed detail, I just am really excited for the arena spectating. It kind of looks like it's a representation of what Fire Emblem battles are meant to look like in real time. Also, watching them gives you all XP, that's awesome. So wood weapons exist, and they're infinite, cheap, ass, and interestingly enough, it seems that durability actually goes up with the weapon grade. First time Fire Emblem's done that. Also, look at the weight of the Iron Sword, it's 4. That's not gonna weigh down anyone, unless direct weight is back. But it's not, because I saw a build stat later on in the trailer. So Divine Sand comes back as the thing that you need to activate Temple Blessings, which from left to right use, off the top of my head, Gonoro, Daphno, Macro, and Oban. Check it, by the way, I'm right. So Aurora's Blessing is half the damage that you take for one turn, so I assume it's activated mid-battle, likely through the same button that calls Fortuna's Blessing. And since Fortuna's right there, so it's possible that to use Fortuna's Blessing you need to worship her temple, providing players who are confident they don't need her the freedom to use the other gods' temples. Except it looks like you can actually use all 4 of them without any punishment. Despite Mars' Blessing giving Strength +5, the example shown only shows a difference of 4? So it seems there's 11 different advanced classes, at least that Dietrich has access to at the time of recording. I don't see Dragoon or Elephant Rider, so they are either personal classes, gender locked, or each character has access to different classes in the pool, which is awesome! Classes tell you their masteries right away. There's something called the Renown level, which to be honest I can't even begin to predict. Promoted armors have 4 move, which is brutal. Dreadnought gets combat arts +2, and also I think that Shido gets that as well, which either increases the known combat arts, grants a combat art discount, or makes it deal more damage with them. It's also gets Strike class This 10, which you actually see earlier, makes it so you
anything.
take less damage if the enemy initiates. It also probably makes you take less damage if the enemy activates Vantage, or you use an engaged smash weapon. Basically anything that lets you strike last. I love armors. The other classes don't really get anything noteworthy. HP, magic uses, and motivation. Well, don't recover after each battle, and carry over in between overworld skirmishes. And you have to recover them at end. Pretty cool. It looks like sometimes characters don't wiggle when they talk, meaning it probably can be turned off. Blinking stays, but that's fine. Who's gonna get mad at blinking frames? So the Pale Raven's pretty awesome, but more importantly, Theodora's arm is gone? Did anyone notice this before? Why have I never heard this? Is this like... Did we know about this? What? Huh? The shop in Riberia seems to be open from 6 AM to midnight. Theo visits the shop at 8 out... which one's that? So this tracks. Time mattering could be very interesting. Demonic beasts reside in this dungeon. Don't think you can hide it from me. They drop Umbral Steel. There's a magic gauge in play during dungeons and a chest counter. Also LP, but I can't guess what that's for. Maybe they're all for the RPG battles? What the hell is this, a Garthan-ass dungeon with a naked Titaness doing? It even has 2 guitars. What about the size of a guy, though? The way the direct presents it, only Theodora can use battalions, but Charm and Authority both make returns, so that clearly isn't the case. Liars. Kai seems to be able to capture mounts, possibly hitting at a horse economy. At 3 hearts against Parrot Bulk for build +2, meaning build is back, baby! And the really low weight of swords is... huh? At 5, it gains Parrot Bulk Plus for build +4. It's possible this is Kai exclusive, but he just may be able to recruit animals in the overworld where everyone else needs to buy them. Also horse support. Being given the option of face Baylor on your own seems like it'll be a Chrono Trigger or Breath of the Wild thing where you can fight the final boss at any time. I both hope it is and isn't like this, because that would be sick! But also, that happened with Unicorn Overlord, and it made me lose interest in the game after I beat the final boss early. And finally, lastly of all, Fortuna is W Goons. That's right, I'm not gonna talk about the time trap.